Welcome to African Youth Voices, a podcast service of the Pan-African Catholic Theology and Pastoral Network. My name is Sister Titilayo Aduloju, a sister of St. Michael the Archangel. I'm your host today. Great to have on our episode today three young creative people from Uganda Cohort of building bridges of faith across Africa. We have already known that these are the faith influencers according to Pope Francis. So these young people will be discussing with us about their cohort, what they have been doing, what have been working for them, their projects, and what they are doing to meet up with the response of the Holy Father to their question on November 1st, 2022. They will also be telling us what their plans are for the next 2 years of this synodal journey. So, I welcome you to African Catholic Youth Voices, my dear friends. You will tell us your name, tell us about yourself, and you will have Davis here, we have Lucky, we have Lucy. Well, I will give you time to just briefly tell us about yourself, then tell us about your cohort, what you have been doing and what has been working for you.
Thank you so much, sister. Good evening. I am Davis Ampereza, and I am a teaching assistant at Makerere University Business School, and I've been the leader of the MOBS cohort, and I happen to be the one to present the Ugandan question to Pope Francis. Our question was basically about immigrants and how their influx is coming in Uganda for the last years and this year as well. So we were concerned about that. Basically, that's how we started our cohorts. Were started different universities in Uganda, and we had to identify different challenges that the youth are facing. And we found out that the youth in Uganda face the same challenges as the youth. So we had to divide these questions. So that's what we presented to the Holy Father, and and what we would like to do more for that. Thank you, sister.
Okay, you are welcome. Before I take you on that, I would like others to also introduce themselves. Lucky, can you?
Yes, good evening to you all. My name is Akugizu Welake, and I am a student at Lera University pursuing a Bachelor's of Science in Public Health. I happen to be a secretary of the cohort at Lera University. It's such a pleasure that I take part in the Building Bridges initiative by Pope Francis. Yeah, it has been such a nice experience to actively participate and start up the various projects to lift us as the youth of Uganda and Catholics at large. Yeah, I concur with, and in respect to the question of Pope Francis, we did a number of activities towards it, including the projects as presented by Ampereza. Thank you so much.
You are welcome, Lucky. Lucy, can you briefly introduce yourself to us?
Lucy, from a graduate from Makerere University Business School in Uganda, as privileged to be part of the Building Bridges initiative.
All right, thank you very much, Lucy. From what you have said, all of you have said, I believe that you have more universities. How many universities do you have? That you have cohorts, BBI cohorts in Uganda.
Sister, we had for the Building Bridges initiative, we had over 7 universities that were participating. That is Makerere University, we had Makerere University Business School, we have University of St. Joseph Mbalala, we had Lira University, we had Mountains of the Moon University, and all these universities were working together.
Great.
Same.
7 universities. And you have good numbers of young people in these universities that are part of Building Bridges initiative.
Yes, sister.
Okay, great. And they all participated in the encounter with Holy Father. And after that, you have also been incorporating more members.
Yeah, apart from the few that had been selected to take part in a conversation with the Pope, we went ahead and delivered this information to our fellow youth, and especially for Lira University, we have always carried out evangelism on every Saturday to spread the words or the advice that the Pope gave us, and also pay a visit to our Catholics, encourage them to pray always, and always have faith in God as Catholics, as Christians in everything we do.
Okay. Thank you very much. I go on to another aspect in your conversation with the Holy Father, and we are happy to have David Teresa who narrated this to the Holy Father. You talked about the influx of many immigrants and refugees into your country on daily basis. And despite this, your warm-hearted and charitable hands that you extended to these countries, your country is still faced with the challenge of economic migration. Can you share with us what do you mean by economic migration? And what do you think are responsible or is or are responsible for this economic migration that you are experiencing in Uganda?
Yes, thank you so much, sister. The issue of immigrants and refugees, sister, in Uganda is, Uganda is a country that I would like to host many of these. And when these people come in Uganda, sister, they have psychosocial challenges. These people have some of them have injuries, and we have to work together. Some they don't know English, they need legal support, and we need to work together to achieve this. The issue of economic migration, sister, Uganda, a number of youth, sister, are moving outside the country to go and look for jobs in Arab countries, in Qatar and all those other countries. When you go to Entebbe airport, you will see a number of people living every day, ladies, gentlemen, leaving the country, going to look for better opportunities outside the country. Just because in Uganda they don't have opportunities that are going to help them live a sufficient life that they should be living, so they live and go to these countries. And we have had a number of challenges to this. Very many people have been coming back dead. You be there, they tell you this one was killed in Saudi Arabia, this one was killed in Qatar. They reach there, life is not good. Some are crying, some are put in houses, locked there, and they are not being helped. So the issue of economic migration, as Uganda is having very many refugees coming in, we also face this challenge of economic migration. We feel we cannot live a sustainable life in Uganda, and the youth decide to go there. And we remember, sister, when we go to those countries, we are also putting pressure on their resources, on their services. We are also increasing their population and all this. So this is a challenge.
Thank you very much, David. Before I come back to you, let me listen to Lucy on this, just briefly. Okay.
So on this issue of economic migration, the fact that there are very few opportunities, we are working as youth to make it a little bit more practical for everyone to get a skill that will enable them to do something. We do not want our youth to only rely on the class knowledge. Currently, Uganda is trying to shift its curriculum from school-based, where you go to class and only study, but to make it more practical so that you know how to do the carpentry, you know how to do the bakery. And I'm positive with initiatives like these, we shall be able to challenge of economic migration, because the people will be able to actually create the jobs for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lucy. And that goes for Lucky. Or you anything to add briefly?
Oh yes, sister. And also regarding to economic migration, another cause is actually the violences in the country, whereby you find some big population or a big number of people are not contented with some of the activities that go along with the country, where we see the police attacking people along towns and so on, and they don't see a lot of value or nationalistic heart of their country, and they would rather surrender their lives in Saudi Arabia. In other Muslim countries, we are raised about a very huge population of people who went to Saudi Arabia, despite of their religion and so on. But better go and have life there, making money because they are fed up with their country. So to me, the biggest point I would bring on board is the political unrest and violence that makes them feel no value for their country.
Oh, oh, that's pathetic. But I'm just wondering that when you open your country for other people to come in to try, and you, the owner of the country, continue to leave the country every day, who will develop the country? The refugees, the immigrants, who? Who will develop the country?
Sister, the issue is about people going outside so that they can earn a living. Sister, Uganda has very many youth and they don't have jobs, unemployment. The main issue that is pushing these people to those countries is unemployment. You hear they are looking for money to sustain themselves, to sustain their families. Yes, we have refugees and the country has programs for refugees. There are organizations that help these refugees, but the local people also have those challenges. We cannot sustain, so we go outside. You finish university, sister, you graduate, and the only option is to now look for ways of going outside to work. We call it kuleche, outside the country. So that is it. The unemployment.
And then, sister, besides unemployment, there is also the low salaries for the professionals, whereby we find that at least every year, each profession go on the streets to strike for low salaries, and the country there does almost nothing towards it. And for that cause, they see it better for them to go and work for 2 million Ugandan shillings out there than remaining in Uganda and only work for 500,000 shillings. So that is another cause that the government's response to the increase of salary is low, and they opt to go outside for better salaries.
For better salaries, for better living, make ends meet. We believe that all these are necessary, well, but we need to also stay and develop our country. Well, this is not only pertaining to Uganda, I mean, the African countries in general. So I think this is why these young people, we are coming now to form a force that will challenge all these existing rules, existing what has been. We need to challenge it so that we to take our countries and develop our countries. Nobody will develop our countries for us. We are always going to America, to other developed countries to develop the already developed countries. Why our own in Africa continue to go backwards? I think it's high time we started realizing this, and we pray that very very soon with BBI we will take back our countries and we will develop our countries. And that takes me to look at another part of your question, or another thing involving your country about the arms. I mean about how can faith influencers. You are coming now. You are in 7 universities, and I believe that in the nearest future you will be in more universities. How are you thinking that you can encourage more young people in Uganda to form formidable force to stop the sales of arms? Because you mentioned the sales of arms and looting of your resources, which is one of the reasons making the youth in Uganda to seek asylum in Europe, in North America, and in other countries of the world. So, what do you think that you can do as youth to stop this?
Uganda has a history that there is no president or new president who has come to become the president of Uganda without use of arms, maybe besides the first president. But here it comes that when we are raised as youth, that it is the army that always come and take up the government, it is not because the youth are not interested, but rather the information. There is a gap between the youth. And then too, the expression that the youth have not gotten, they have not realized how best to get their right of expression. But now, starting from the various universities, we have the different debates whereby previously we would debate about mother and father, but now we have integrated the rule of law into the debates, whereby we have inter-university debates and debate about the rule of law and how best it can work. And this one would basically aid in curbing down the dictatorship form of, and then also uh, be in position to ask for our rights and not necessarily wait for what remains on the table, but ask for what belongs to us. And then to also encourage the Christians to not look at corruption and quick money as the only solution to the problems, but be true Christians that they can sustain their country or they can make their country move without, uh, let's say, favoritism and other forms of corruption. And in so doing, we shall give a chance to many people to become leaders, but not looting of things as it looks to be, whereby the government loses iron sheets that are donated to vulnerable people. But now, when we bring this on board and debate about corruption, debate about rule of law, people will get an idea to better manage the coming generation. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Lucky. And Lucy, you were going to say something?
I'm saying, in order to make this a better place, okay, as a way of shifting the issue of power challenges, corruption, dictatorship, the universal church is trying to shift from the traditional way of preaching, whereby when the priest or the religious leaders go to church, they only talk about God. But currently, they're trying to talk about everything. They talk about creation of jobs, they talk about politics. And in that way, they offer platforms for the youth to gain more confidence, even through the church, not church politics as per se, but when you start as a youth and then you're probably leading the cohort, you're part of the pastoral council, that builds up your confidence and we are able to grow up and actually know that anyone can become a leader, and progressively we shall be able to settle the issue of corruption and dictatorship. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for your vital points that you have been raising. And I would like to ask you that in Uganda, is there a relationship between the church and the government? The church authority and the civil authority, political authorities, is there any relationship? Okay.
There is a relationship. There is a relationship with the church and the government. Of course, they work together. The church and the government work together. Of course, you cannot fail to get people who do not agree with the government. And most of the church leaders in Uganda today have come out directly to tell the government where they have gone wrong. They give their opinions. And so there is that relationship. Sometimes, of course, the government does not heed to their advice and all that, but the church has come out to speak about the challenges, about the issues that the government is having. And there has been a relationship. You see them holding national prayers, you see them having meetings. So I think there is a relationship between the church and government.
The church is making a huge impact in the society, in the entire country.
Yes, sister. The church has it.
That's fine. And I would also like to go on what Lucky told us about, that there's a gap between the youth and the authorities, particularly the civic authorities, the politicians and all. So this gap, how do you think we can bridge this gap? How do you think that we can start encouraging our young people to go into politics?
Sister, before that, I could also talk about how the government nowadays has started to see that the church plays a big role towards formation of good citizens. So even the government has started calling upon the church to play a role through, maybe let's say in health. They tell the people to practice good health practices, not only by the government but also by the church leaders. And then how can the youth better be encouraged to enter into the politics and government? Here, I also want to bring it towards the panel discussions and debates formulated by the youth themselves, but supported by the government and the church. If we could, there are already groups, let's say each university has a debate, has various groups, and even some other groups are church related. If they could be supported maybe financially and have they studied on maybe a weekly basis to better know how the government runs and also drive away the spirit of fear towards politics. Like in Uganda, someone thinks if you dare contest for president, then war will be against you. You risk losing life. But if we could, develop that strong spirit through panel discussions, advocacy, and debates, we can be brave enough not look at intimidation, but see the greater things after our success.
Yes, I believe what you have just said now. And I want to tell you that that is why one of the reasons that you are here and you are there in Uganda as building bridges influencers, youth influencers, faith influencers. So you need to influence others. You need to force others into this. You have good initiatives. So you must let others also know about this. Okay? You will not be able to do it alone. You need the church to back you up. You need yourself to be one, You need yourself to be one. And once you form yourself, you'll be able to challenge the existing rules and the existing challenges that you are having or you are facing in Uganda. Thank you very much for your discussion so far. Professor, you were raising hand.
Yes, sister. I also wanted to talk about the gap. There is a huge gap. You are being led by people who are very old in the country, and they are saying we are the leaders of tomorrow. I am happy that the church has now come tell us that we are the leaders of today. This is the time where we should lead. This is the time where we should come up as the youth and take on the mantle. I am very happy for this initiative, and it is opening the youth. It is opening our thinking, and we now know that we should be included. Don't need to be included tomorrow. Thank you, sister.
Thank you very much. So you are the church of now. You are the leaders of now and of the future of God. Okay? So, and that should rule you. That should be your passion. And you should always live for that. You should always live for that. Thank you very much. You are listening to the African Catholic Youth Voices, a podcast service of the Pan-African Catholic Theology and Pastoral Network. And here with me are young people from Uganda. I have here David, Lucky, and Lucy. And you have been enjoying them. So we are still here. Okay? So, my friends, let's go back and let's go and talk about the Uganda Martyrs. Okay? Let's talk about the Uganda Martyrs. It's no longer news or story to the rest of the world that these Uganda Martyrs were executed for refusing to renounce their religion and their new faith. And the Kabaka Mwanga, the second of Uganda, considered this disobedience and rebellion to his order, and he ordered them to be executed. The youngest among them was about 14 years. I was Saint Tito. Now, can you say that this kind of faith here exists among young people in Uganda today?